Xbox have just announced the Xbox Game Pass games for the remainder of September and into early October, and I have to say, this is a ridiculous amount of games that are coming our way. Xbox have now decided to treat us with 20 brand new games onto Xbox Game Pass, and I can already tell that everyone's backlogs will be overflowing at the seams. With that though, my name is Fletcher, and this is Xbox Nation, and let's dive right into the games coming our way. Of course, if you did miss my update a couple weeks back now, Roadcraft is now available as of today for all of you Xbox Game Pass members. This is a massively populated simulator that has you taking control of many different construction vehicles in the wake of a massive natural disaster. You'll have to go out, clear debris, repair roads and bridges, and even restore some essential infrastructure. I've actually played this one myself for a few hours now, and I did quite enjoy it, although the controls certainly take some getting used to. Anywho, if you are wanting a realistic challenge, solo or with your friends, then Roadcraft will be worth diving into as of today. Shortly on the horizon, we have the addition of Deep Rock Galactic Survivor onto Xbox Game Pass, and to be honest, I'm beyond hyped for this brand new game. It has now been out on PC in early access for a little while, and has garnered a lot of incredible reviews due to its addictive gameplay, and I know many have compared it as well to the masterpiece known as Vampire Survivors. Still, this one has you delving into the deep caverns once again, but now as a singular dwarf miner, and it's your job to defeat the hordes of aliens, mine the riches, and unlock some powerful upgrades. You still get the same full arsenal weapons and tools like you do in Deep Rock Galactic, but this time you have to survive as long as possible in this auto shooter. I know many of my rock and stone brothers and sisters are pretty hyped for this, and I personally can't wait to dive into it as of tomorrow. If you're a strategy game enthusiast such as myself, or just enjoy some deep systems with a ton of consequences, then you definitely need to check out Frostpunk 2, as it officially lands onto Xbox consoles and cloud gaming this week. If you're unfamiliar, you'll take on the role of a steward, and you'll have to lead your city through a cascade of calamities taking place in a post-apocalyptic snowy setting. There is everything here from developing, expanding, and advancing your city in a society survival game set 30 years after an apocalyptic blizzard has ravaged Earth. I have to say, you won't only face the perils of the never-ending winter, but also the powerful factions that watch your every single step inside that council hall. I am actually in the process of reviewing the game currently, and I've played it for over 40 hours now on my Xbox consoles. So if you do want to check out my review of Frostpunk 2 when it does come out, then subscribe down below and check back on the channel as of tomorrow. Wobbly Life is a really interesting indie that arrives onto the service on the very same day as Frostpunk 2, and it's also a more light-hearted experience than the clambering cold and desperation of your society. Instead, this one is a vibrant open world physics sandbox where you can play with your friends online or in local co-op. You'll have to take part in some exciting jobs, minigames, and wacky story missions throughout the game's runtime. You also then earn cash to basically spend in this world on different clothes, vehicles, and houses, so it does have quite a fun gameplay loop to say the least. I kind of describe it though as GTA but made for a younger audience, but I know many that are my age get absolutely hooked on this because it's just pure fun. If you want a great time and one that doesn't cause you any stress, then you definitely need to check out Wobbly Life this September. A huge game is returning to Xbox Game Pass, and it's none other than the absolutely excellent Hades. With the game now celebrating its 5th year anniversary, there's no better time to jump into this roguelike and experience it, especially if you've never had the chance to. This one though has you battling multiple enemies and bosses from Greek myth in the underworld, and it's so bloody addictive. As the immortal prince of the underworld, you'll be wielding your different powers and mythic weapons of Olympus to break free from the clutches of the god of the dead himself, while growing stronger and unraveling more of the story with each unique escape attempt. It really is genre defining in the same way that Doom or Portal are, and for very good reason. Hades is an absolute masterpiece, deserving of its place in the pantheon of instant classics, and you need to play it on the 19th of September. Well, we do have another PC Game Pass game to add to your library this month, and again, if you love strategy games just like me, this one looks so blooming good. If you love games like Civilization, then Endless Legend 2 will need to be on your radar. It is a fantasy strategy game where you'll lead wildly varied factions as they build grand armies and wage planet-spanning wars on an ever-evolving ocean world at the brink of extinction. Basically, cataclysmic events have wrought havoc on the natural order, and the very world will change as time goes on, revealing some brand new opportunities for exploration and conquest to the bold and daring. You will have to establish your own expansive cities to spread your influence and strengthen your economy. You'll then have to raise your armies, command troops in tactical turn-based battles, and so much more to overcome your enemies. That does sound pretty interesting though. It does enter game preview as a day one title via Xbox Game Pass on the 22nd of September. Now, this one looks seriously exciting for fans of action roguelikes. Sworn is a 1 to 4 player co-op adventure where you and your friends step into a dark reimagining of Camelot. The once proud kingdom has basically fallen under the reign of a corrupted Arthur alongside his twisted knights of the Round Table, and it's up to you to basically reclaim it. What makes Sworn so fun though is the way that your character's powers can be combined in some surprising ways, letting you master some brand new abilities and then also build some powerful synergies to take on those overwhelming foes. With each of your runs feeling quite fresh and full of challenge, you'll definitely need to work on your teamwork, strategy and skills to survive long enough to confront Arthur himself. If that sounds pretty interesting to you, it does launch onto Xbox Game Pass for all members on the 23rd of September. Pack your bags because you're going to be joining Peppa Pig as she heads on her world tour, and yes, you are invited as I just mentioned. In Peppa Pig World Adventures, you'll be exploring some amazing destinations like New York City, Hollywood Boulevard, Paris, Australia, London, and even hop aboard a brand new cruise ship. Whether it's making pizzas in Italy or meeting some brand new characters on your travels, there's going to be no shortage of fun for all of you players out there. You can even take part in some exciting quests and deck your character out with countless outfits and accessories to match your entire adventure. Of course, this one is perfect for younger players, or just anyone who wants to enjoy some light-hearted family fun experience, or just want an easy 1000 gamer score just like me. If you're interested though, it lands onto Game Pass on the 25th of September, and I'm quite excited to jump into Peppa Pig World Adventures. This next one is a huge one, folks. Visions of Mana is finally making its debut onto Xbox Game Pass on the 25th of September, and this one is the newest entry in the beloved Mana series. The story will follow Val and her childhood friend known as Hina, who has just been chosen as the Alm of Fire. Together, they basically set out on a journey to reach the legendary Mana Tree, crossing breathtaking semi-open world fields filled with both adorable and ferocious monsters. Battles here though do feel quite fast-paced and dynamic, letting you use the powers of your elementals to unleash some stunning combos. Along the way though, you will meet some brand new companions, uncover different secrets, and begin to unravel the truth about this entire world. For fans of vibrant JRPGs, this one would be an unmissable addition to your Game Pass library. Here's a hidden gem though, making its way back to Xbox Game Pass at the end of this month. Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light first released all the way back in 2010. Yes, 15 years ago, and it's still a really fun spin-off from the original Tomb Raider series. This time though, Lara teams up with Totek, a Mayan warrior, to essentially track down the ancient artifact known as the Mirror of Smoke. The game blends all of the hallmarks of this franchise, from exploration, puzzle solving and platforming, but with fast-paced combat and even some co-op gameplay. Of course, you can play this one solo or alongside 3 other friends, combining your unique abilities to overcome the different challenges. It is a great bite-sized adventure that's full of charm and action, and is one that I do highly recommend. I have been waiting for Sopa for absolutely ages, and finally we do have a release date, and yes, it's still coming to Xbox Game Pass as a day one title for all Ultimate and PC subscribers. If you haven't heard of this one before, it is a touching narrative adventure where you take control of a young boy named Miho. He basically goes off and explores a world of magical realism inspired by Latin America. We'll have to journey through these enchanting landscapes, meet the quirky characters, and also gather exotic ingredients for Grandma's soup. That's whilst following in the footsteps of a mysterious legendary traveller from a long time ago. It looks bloody wonderful every time that I've seen it so far, and I'm really digging that art style. If you're looking for a new narrative adventure that's meant to tug at your heartstrings, then this is the one for you. I know some of you will be incredibly excited for the next Call of Duty, but whilst my personal preference is for Battlefield 6 this year, I will still check out this new entry later on this year. Well, in some great news for all of you Xbox Game Pass subscribers, you will be able to use a brand new arsenal and outmaneuver your enemies with the next level of Omni movement during the Black Ops 7 beta, which will take place this October. This one will of course enable us to try out some brand new 6 vs 6 multiplayer maps, which will be coming out on launch on the 14th of November. Black Ops 7 though is looking to combine a new level of visual fidelity alongside the redefined multiplayer design, and of course they are still calling this the most advanced Call of Duty ever. Still, if you do have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, the Black Ops 7 beta will run from October 2nd to the 8th, with us getting early access to try it out right away the moment it does go live. Now, for all of you standard Xbox Game Pass subscribers, you are also getting some cracking titles that will be a part of your subscription, and these will land on the 17th of September. First up, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and I won't lie, this is a pretty lovely addition, especially if you do want a solid multiplayer offering. Just heed my advice though, and don't really bother with the campaign, as it's still my least favourite of the entire series. Still though, it does follow Captain Price and the gang, and does kind of set up the premise of a Modern Warfare 4 down the line. The multiplayer though, as I mentioned, is a real highlight, and Sledgehammer did an excellent job with tons of updates, new maps, and so much more. Now, the sequel to the cult hit strategy RPG is landing on the standard as well. Border King 2 blends turn-based combat, tabletop-style exploration, and roguelike replayability into a challenging co-op adventure. You have to basically gather your party, roll the dice, and journey across Farrell to topple a tyrant queen. I was personally unable to get into this one, as I did find it quite system heavy and the tutorial was certainly lacking, but I know many out there do enjoy it, and it seemed like it was a good follow-up to the first entry. If you enjoy city builders with a twist, then Overthrown is a great add-on for you standard subscribers. It will be hitting version 1.0 on the 16th of October, and there is going to be a ton of free new content for you to try out. This game though lets you take on the role of a monarch who wears a magical soul-stealing crown, and in particular, this special item does give you various special abilities. Also, you must then have to build and manage your own kingdom in the wilderness that's full of bandits and mutants. It is a real gem that I did highlight in my best Xbox Game Pass games this August, so definitely give this one a go if you get the chance. Don't worry for all of you Xbox Core members, as I haven't forgotten about you either, as there are 3 new games that are also landing onto your subscription as of the 1st of October. First of all, I highly recommend that you try out Warhammer 40k Darktide if you get the chance, as it's easily one of the best co-op FPS games on Xbox this generation. There is also a ton of content right out the gate for you to sink your teeth into, and it really nails that sense of the bloody atmosphere of the 40k universe. Then you have the addition of Disney Dreamlight Valley, and yes, I know this game has such a massive audience. This one though is pretty big for this tier, as you basically get to help many characters within the world of Disney and then build the house of your dreams. It's similar to the likes of Animal Crossing, but just set in that Disney universe, hence why it's so popular. The third game is City Skylines Remastered, and I don't really have much I can say about this one, as it's easily one of the best city builders out on the market. In this one, you build up your very own metropolis and then control everything from population, heat, distribution, water networks, and so much more, and you can even face some natural disasters. Definitely don't sleep on this one if you've never played it before, as you'll easily get hooked from the first few minutes. With that though, the wait is almost over. EA Sports FC 26 officially kicks off on its early access this Friday, and football fans are already gearing up for another season of digital glory. I've actually had some hands-on time with the closed beta, and without giving too much away, I can say there are clear gameplay refinements compared to the last year entry. The on-pitch action does feel pretty smooth, player responsiveness has seen some tweaks, and matches have a slightly faster tempo. Full details will come once the game is live though, but it looks like a fresh step forward for FIFA veterans and newcomers alike. If you've pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition, Friday is of course the day to dive in, and if you're part of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you can dive into a 10-hour trial right away. There is some good news as well for all of you that's still rocking the Xbox One. Commandos Origins is finally making its way to the previous generation of consoles this week, after already being available for Xbox Series X and S consoles and also PC earlier this year. The tactical stealth game though drops you into World War II settings across more than 10 varied missions, ranging from the desert operations in Africa to the icy sabotage efforts in the Arctic. You'll take control of 6 unique commandos, each with their own skills, and coordinate precise infiltrations to dismantle that Nazi war machine. Whilst the story isn't groundbreaking and the controls can feel slightly tricky on our consoles, the core strategy gameplay still remains pretty engaging. If you're craving a slower paced, thoughtful experience, then this one is a solid option for your Xbox Ones. Unfortunately though, with it being a new wave of Xbox Game Pass games, we do have some leaving the service on the 30th of September. So do make sure to either purchase these games to add them to your library or finish them up as soon as possible. The following games leaving are Ninja Gaiden Sigma, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, and Terra Invicta. I assume these Ninja Gaiden games are actually leaving because we're getting Ninja Gaiden 4 next month, so definitely try them if you haven't done so already. Now, I won't go into too much depth in this video, as I will cover many of these brand new October Game Pass entries in a week's time, but we do have a ton of cracking titles coming our way next month. From the excellent looking indie titles known as Ball X Pit and Keeper to the massive AAA releases of Ninja Gaiden 4 and The Outer Worlds 2, there is a ton to get excited by for the end of this year. I have released a new article going over these games on my brand new website, so do feel free to check that out if you get the chance. Or do make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out the video covering October's new Xbox and Game Pass releases when that comes out next week. If you do also want to check out another awesome Xbox video, do check out the video on screen now, as I covered the best Xbox Game Pass games you need to play this September.